how amusing and destructively engaging playing mind games with someone can be. The worst decision you could ever make would be to do this to a Sigma INFJ. These are 10 reasons why you should never tease an INFJ person. Number 10. Almost no one can outwit an INFJ with a Sigma. Attempting to trick an INFJ person by using mental tricks to achieve what you want only bring about regret. Indeed, you may play with an INFJ Sigma, yet it's likely they'll try to control you in return. They will try to delve further because they are aware of where something is wrong. Once they are aware of your patterns and intents, they will begin to imitate and play along with you. They are also capable of doing this in public. They'll act as though they concur with everything you say, making you appear foolish and idiotic in front of plenty of people. Everyone around you will discover that they are merely copying your behavior, including the Sigma. The worst part is that until they begin to laugh it off, you won't even be aware that they are doing it. Have you ever responded in this way to an INFJ Sigma who attempts to influence you? Number 9. They are able to discern your true intentions. The Sigma INFJ never intends to belittle or undervalue other people's reasoning by constantly anticipating their needs. Therefore, it is never their fault that they are able to discern people's true intentions and motivations, just because they are aware. And it's not their business to suppress their intuition in order to facilitate bad intentions on the part of others. So be careful if you ever try to trick these perceptive, clever creatures. You'd better be prepared for exposure and confrontation. Sigma INFJs won't be hesitant to express their feelings for you, particularly when their gut instinct says as much. They have the ability to recognize approaching danger and take swift action. They will be able to tell if someone is sincere or not, or whether they are interested or not. And they instantly build barriers around themselves to guard against being misled any further. From here, one may conclude that playing pranks on the Sigma INFJ is the ideal way to squander their time. Number 8. Before making a statement, they will gather all the available proof. The problem about the INFJs is that they never put up with mistreatment. Additionally, because it disrespects their capacity for logic and thinking, playing mind games with children is a type of abuse. They will exert every effort to make that person learn a lesson. Since everyone errs, they won't downplay the situation and defend their actions. Also, they will see problems for what they are rather than for what they might be. Therefore, rather than dismissing it, they bring it up and make clear all the reasons why it is intolerable. Before speaking up, they will compile all available proof of that person's tendency toward manipulation and control. When eventually obtaining such proof, they will act on their presumptions by outing the villain's heinous intentions. INFJs with the Sigma personality type don't mind awkward conflicts. It's not their responsibility to prevent conflict at their expense by dodging manipulators. Have you tried being more cautious about certain people as an INFJ Sigma? Number 7. They are better at controlling you. Yes, Sigma INFJs have the potential to become skilled manipulators. But because they frequently choose the middle ground in every dispute, they are less inclined to utilize manipulation. But when the other person refuses to support their efforts to bring about peace, they also won't think twice about hunching down. Matching their adversary's frequency, they may control them back. The most terrifying aspect of being duped by a Sigma INFJ is that you won't even be aware of it. You won't ever be able to tell if they are being serious or joking. Similarly, you can never tell if someone is being intentionally ignorant or just acting foolish. More adept at gaslighting than malicious manipulators are Sigma INFJs. It's as a result of their observation and study of behavioral patterns in people, long enough for them to anticipate their upcoming action. They already know what your intentions are and when you'll carry them out before you even start. Number 6. Red flags won't be ignored by them. Sigma INFJs excel at responding to deal breakers. Deal breakers are not seen by them as interpersonal difficulties or common disagreements. Instead, they consider breakers to be danger signs. Instead of seeing them for what they might be, they see them for what they are. They will acknowledge them and act on them in other ways rather than correcting them and compromising their principles, beliefs, comfort, and sanity. They will be held responsible for their own suffering and afflictions. Hence, instead of ignoring potential warning signs, they approach them right away. This is particularly true if they can already tell that the other person is attempting to have them tiptoe around them and take back control of their lives. And once they think the individual is teasing them or playing mind games with them, either they'll comply or they'll lose any connection with them. You have never disregarded some red indicators as a Sigma INFJ, have you? Number 5, you might merely wear yourself out. The quickest and easiest method to stress and exhaust yourself unnecessarily is to play mind games with a Sigma INFJ. Why? It's because you'll always lose to them. They'll be aware of your plans, even before you recognize it. They will also comprehend your intentions before you carry them out. Sigma INFJs have a propensity to think ahead of others, because they have keen intuition that is frequently accurate. Even without the obvious indications in their tone and gestures, they can tell when someone is trying to trick them. This suggests that against these intelligent people, even the most skilled manipulator will always lose. And instead of enjoying it, they only experience tiredness, tension, and most likely embarrassment. Number 4, all you'll do is lose them. If the INFJ Sigma is one of your most important relationships, you had better avoid manipulating them. Unless you do, you'll wake up one morning without them at your side. It's as a result of the INFJ's lack of fear of losing people who aren't sincere about them. They have no problem ending a relationship. They will only be wasting their time and effort on pointless interactions. The emotional immaturity and lack of commitment that many INFJs blame for this conduct. They will therefore put their attention on themselves rather than hanging around, accepting this harmful conduct, and offering you multiple opportunities. Living on your own. Put everything in its proper perspective and eventually move on without you. They don't have time to argue pointlessly or fight for causes that aren't worthwhile. Thereby getting caught manipulating them in your head would inevitably result in their loss. Have you ever given a manipulator another chance as a Sigma INFJ? Number 3, you'll only put yourself out there. If you have a lot of buried problems and suppressed insecurities, the last thing you should do is try to trick an INFJ Sigma. Why? Because you'll wind up exposing to them all of those suppressed aspects. Sigma INFJs will read you back as if you're an open book while manipulating them. They want to know why you act in a certain way or take certain actions. They'll also want to know why you're controlling them and will make every effort to figure out the reasons for your bad behavior. Is it related to familial problems, parental neglect, projected insecurities, or the need to be better than others? The Sigma will then be aware of the underlying reasons for your propensity toward manipulation. And in doing so, they will expose you to the truths that you have been frantically trying to conceal. Number 2, they'll make your anxieties obvious. After being aware of the root causes of your poor conduct and negative behavior, they'll tell you outright about it. They will list all of your personality flaws and why you ought to be embarrassed by them. They won't worry if they are delving into your prior traumas, as they will describe all the reasons for your bad behavior. You realize that you're being played instead of them. Instead of being the one seeking for a target, you end up becoming the target. The worst individuals to play mind games with are Sigma INFJs, so there. You cannot induce self-pity in them. Feel guilty or uneasy. They won't have any choice if you ever try harder. But to be clean about your past problems, turbulence, and all the repulsive qualities you've been hiding for so long. Have your curiosity and direct honesty traumatized anyone as a Sigma INFJ? Number 1, you'll come to understand that you're nothing in comparison to them. If you struggle with poor self-esteem and a fragile ego, playing mind games with the Sigma INFJ is the best method to make the situation worse. Your ego will be threatened by their response, which will stun you. You might not realize how quickly they can respond, due to their cool, unfazed, and restrained demeanor. These people can, however, control their anger when the occasion calls for it. They won't be able to stop themselves from playing it, especially when provoked. And when they finally yield to your pressure and lower themselves to your level, you'll come to understand that you're nothing in comparison to them. Sigma INFJs have good self-control, but if people put them through more trials, they will also provide them what they want. But in a harsher manner, has he also exploited others as a Sigma INFJ? How did they respond?